I come from a background where I've been used to managing color both on and off the press, including now at the press. Just to sum it up, I think we heard the challenges from Amit Ray in the first half itself about the challenges that we face with the ink also and the short runs. And the short run is something that we are all getting used to now, and it is no longer a PowerPoint on a presentation. Today it is reality. 10 years back it was just a PowerPoint on a presentation, and we were trying to make products which were actually akin to make sure that you do a fruitful and a productive short run. I think the basics of color management today has been covered quite well. We had Mr. Karan Prayagi, Mr. Naresh Khanna, who's been there. I've seen him do this work for the last, ever since I was in this job, actually, in this career, in this industry. I remember 20 years back when we first spoke about fingerprinting, and I think you still have the videotape on that, and we're still talking about fingerprinting even now in Flexo. But we've come a long way, and I think today we've come a long way where I see my son who's using virtual reality to even shop because everything is online. So probably when we were speaking about implementation online, I think the best time will be when we actually get a spectrophotometer as an app on an iPhone or on a smartphone, and use the lens on an iPhone, measure that, and give you a feedback. Because then it's there. See, so Mr. Khanna says it's already there, but probably not used. So we need to use this more often. 5 years back, we saw the first app in Flexo, where one of the pre-press suppliers built up a very nice app to show what analogs you can choose and what LPI means in LPC and so on, so forth. So today we are in a smart industry, and we need to be smart with digitally capable instruments. But yes, I will still look for the day when a spectrophotometer is on an iPhone. I think we also spoke about music, which is very close to my heart as well. I think one of the presenters made a very good point on music. In the end, I think color management, implementation of color management on the ground, on the press, is very much like that. It's like actually running an orchestra, where you want to make sure that the music sounds good and you eliminate all the noise. Yeah, including the noise in pre-press. Yeah. So I think last but not least, the last panel discussion that I had was a very lively one. Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Very lively discussion. And I think the point that you made in the very end, Mr. Dev, was very appropriate. And this is exactly something that we would like to take forward at the industry. I mean, we have the spectrum of the industry here. We have the partners in progress, and also the leaders in the industry, including the converters, who are at the brunt end of it sometimes, some of the times. The key point today is, and this is where I would like to state that again, what Professor Akshay Joshi said, was to build up the skill from the ground level. And couple of months back, I was talking to Dr. Saha in Indian Institute of Packaging, and he said, I'm going to start another college of BE in printing and packaging. And my immediate comment was, you don't really need a BE in printing and packaging. You need vocational training courses. Yeah. And this is what is the need of the hour. So I will be happy to support institutions like what Professor Akshay Joshi represents, where you have vocational training programs, and we can help you, Professor. And actually, this is not just helping you, but it's also helping the industry, and that's what we need. The need, why we need this in terms of skill development, is because we have to break down that entire gamut of knowledge of color management into simple steps, and unlearn that, and make sure that even a simple man coming from a 10th grade or a 12th grade can execute color management on the phone, on the press, with a smartphone, whether it is Android-based or iOS-based, it's late or something. But that's something I think we should take as a way forward from this discussion that we had. There's a lot of heartburn in the pre-press industry about who's blaming whom, and I'm sure this will make sure that we plug those holes and also ensure that the implementation is done on the ground. So I think with that, I would like to close this fantastic evening. Thank you so much for this evening. And again, I would go back to that point where I'm saying you spoke about DOE, Professor Akshay. This was a very good point. And the DOE, in the greatest form of implementation in India, is the Dabbawala in Bombay. Yeah? Because the Dabbawala hits the best Six Sigma. He has above Six Sigma, 0 errors. Yeah. So the best implementation of color management could be when you have an iPhone which is measuring the gamut of color, and a person like a Dabbawala who can color code and read that LAB value and not have to read this humongous PowerPoint slides. That is implementation of color management to me. Thank you so much.